So today's topic, um, kind of carrying on, we're going in a, a little deeper into our personal walk, and we talked about making an overall um, sort of mission statement for our life, and then how everything within us and the decisions we make and the stuff that we do will line up under that umbrella. And it's really neat. You guys have been um, doing that, so it's really exciting to see that. And so going a little bit different direction uh, with the idea of our the impressions that we leave, not just in the world, but the impressions that we leave in our own life and the lives around us, and but especially our own life, because really this journey on earth is about our own life and our own evolution, and and along the way the service to others naturally happens out of our evolution and growth. So as we just tap into and dig into our own life and life expression, we will um, be growing and learning and evolving right within ourselves, and we'll become aware of things that we need to let go and things that we want to add in, right? Sometimes some not training, and sometimes just different stuff like that. So as pertaining to our thoughts, so our thoughts, and we've talked about this quite a bit, but our thoughts that we have bring emotions with them, right? So thoughts equal emotions, and the emotions, our footprint, our fingerprint, so to speak, into our own life and into the lives of others. And um, I've been doing some transformation myself right now in my life, and not just externally, but really a lot of internal transformation has been happening in the last couple of weeks, um, several weeks, and uh, I'm seeing being led into this journey of the emotions that we have, the feelings that we have are part of our being, and they become part of ourselves, like they become part of our energetic life essence, but part of our physical life essence. So if there are undercurrents of thought, and oftentimes these aren't even known to us. They're not running in the forefront. They're running behind, oftentimes even behind the peace that we gain in our spiritual journey. So as we move into new territories in our life, we move into new experiences, we move into new desires to evolve and to grow. These undercurrents, or these thought streams, can float to the surface, and we begin to see their impact on our life. And for myself, I could see, and this has happened throughout my spiritual process, but being able to see the impact of that belief system or thought process, or even it's like scar tissue, like emotional scar tissue that's trapped in the cellular level of our beings. And when I had my practice and I would work on people, this uh, the the release of this would happen. Working on somebody's body where it has pain, or it is tight, or it's stagnant, or they're just not attached to it, and they will get memories or uh, pictures or even a trauma, a physical trauma, will be contained in the vessel of our body, in that area, or in our body as a whole as the emotions continue to run through. So, a, a trauma, emotional trauma, can create a belief system, and that belief system will run through the undercurrent with those emotions. It's kind of like an electrical current that's running, oh, continuously, whether we're aware of it or not. But we see the results in our life. We experience the results in our overall life experience, or our day-to-day life experience, repetitive patterns, that kind of thing. But once you get past the obvious, there is a subtle there are the subtle threads that run also. And so I um, was becoming aware of some of that in my own life, like just a background tone that was not part of it's not part of who I am or who I know I am. It's not something current. It's not even I didn't even know where it came from initially, but I felt like it was like scar tissue in my emotional muscle, just like scar tissue, you know, in our skin, or um, in our body, or when we heal, oftentimes the scar fades and we don't even notice it anymore, but it's still there. So I was pondering this in my meditation and in my time um, of speaking to my high self, and really desiring to understand, uh, and just to remove from my life all things that aren't present, and all things that aren't that are using energy, that are preventing me from being fully expressed in uh, my service and in my spiritual footprint and expression on the earth. And so I started to see these patterns, this thread, as being like a bag of rocks I'm carrying around. And I was like, wow, that doesn't belong to me. That's energy that is contained within my cells. And it's contained there. Um, it's there, it's having an effect, but it's not active. It's not active, right? And so I wanted to bring it out. And then as I was going on my walk, and I was really asking for clarity about this, um, I started to be instructed, like uh, any emotion, like I'm like, ooh, gosh, that's a beautiful uh, field, and my inner self would say, do you want that stored in your cells? And I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd have like ugh, I would think about something um, that would give me a stress, and then uh, my inner voice said, do you want that stored in your cells? And so I started to see this picture that, you know, I'm a living being. My thoughts are alive. They create and generate emotions through the chemistry of my body. And so, moment to moment, do you want that stored in your cells? Because over time, as we store things in our cells, uh, unhealthy or low vibration emotions create a low vibration in our cellular body in different areas. So part of our process is not just change our thoughts, get out there and do some work or read another book, but it's to take everything that we've taken in and steep in it, uh, and then allow it to change us. And it's over time. Sometimes it's a fast time, right? And sometimes it's there's levels and layers, but we're not running out of time. So it's being like fully committed to our end goal, which that's why it's so good to have that overlying, what's the footprint I want to be? Who am I in my journey on this earth? what is the essence of me? What is my fragrance? What is the flavor that I am leaving behind? What is it like? Uh, you know, am I a garden? So we really look in and we say, what is the fragrance I want to leave behind? And then as we begin to see that and feel it and be, then things that are no longer necessary will begin to filter up from way back. Things, it's not a, nobody has a perfect life. Everybody has stuff. So many of us have gone through the steps of stuff, eliminating stuff, understanding stuff, working through stuff, processing stuff up in here. But there's still oftentimes uh, the process lives on within ourselves, within our physical body. So healing is the entire system. Uh, so it's understanding, absolutely. It's receiving truth and allowing the truth to float to the surface. Um, it's like burning the dross out of gold. It floats the crap to the surface and it gets skimmed off. It's no more dramatic than that. It's not we don't have to go uh, pay money for it. You've got the power within you. It is a willingness to empty the vessel and allow it to be filled. And then understanding when we reach for that and we desire that process to empty the vessel of all that is not going to produce fruit, then we're filled up with what will produce fruit. But it is not I want that in my mind. It's happened for me, done and done. It is not like that. It is a process of understanding the connection between experiences, which are create thoughts, which create emotions, which are become lodged, like a thorn or a splinter, right? It becomes lodged, and sometimes it heals over. You don't even know it, and then sometimes it works its way back out. So we're wanting to tune up to our divine the divine vibration and tune up to our unique, beautiful tone. So we are like these individual instruments that, um, we're tuning up bit by bit. Um, if you play an instrument, hurrah! And if you don't, and if you ever tried, or you've been around someone who's learning, it's not fun initially because you're listening to and then all of a sudden something clicks and it's like, ooh, that was pretty, and then it goes back to right? So that's what's happening within our process. We're hearing our divine life from within, and we're tuning up to it. And then pretty soon we have enough tune up that we have a beautiful tone for note by note. And then we string the notes together. And then pretty soon we have a bar. And then pretty soon we have our own tone that is in the symphony of life with everybody else. And we're playing to our fullest, beautiful, unique, divine tone, emanating a beautiful golden light and life uh, out of ourselves into the space around us. And so in our process of growing and loving ourselves and loving the life we're in and loving ourselves enough to really allow ourselves to slow down and begin to tune up, and through the tuning process, um, the scar tissue, the residue, the thought patterns, the um, whatever it is, will become illuminated. And it's not important to, we don't have to do anything, right? I got to go grab it and remove it. You become aware and release. Open awareness, release. We can't do it without our high divine self. We can't do it through our thinking mind. Then it becomes a process and it is not a complete one. It has to be, we are one with our high self, one with the universe. So through this loving union, we are elevated through the relationship, through the union, through our awareness of our divine life and the love that is residing within us. And every time we tune up, we make more room, and the more room that we have within us, the more our authentic divine being fills the room, the space, and then we begin to express more completely. Um, why don't we chase after that? 100%. Oftentimes because we feel we have to give something up, or we have a misconception that if we choose the fulfillment of our highest and best divine life, that we won't have the perfect job, perfect relationship, perfect home, perfect financial status, or perfect whatever it is we think that we will have to sacrifice in order to pursue our spirituality. And really, we're spiritual beings first, and all of that stuff is here for us. It's here for us to discover and achieve. It is part of our highest and best, fullest expression. So, pursuing our highest and best inner self, then our life is born from the inside out, and we begin to find ourselves in these magical situations of um, of going to work, loving what we do every day, of of having friends and relationships that are better than we could even imagine, of feeling joy and love and happiness in life consistently all the time, right? And becoming more powerful in our divine expression so that we are unmoved by the events in the material realm. We're coming into our own. We're seeing ourselves clearly as the beautiful divine beings that we are. The more clearly we see, the more room, because we don't need the other stuff. And we expand, and then we really begin to have a, a full life. And then our service begins to be born more and more out of that. Um, or if we're doing something, it becomes infused and becomes alive because of the infusion of life. And that we're not operating out of our mind through our thoughts and ideas, um, with a occasional tapping in, or whatever it is. So uh, that's my message for today. So when you are thinking a thought, having an emotion, ask yourself, do I want this to reside in myself? And is this a gift I want to give anybody else? And it will really make you think about the impact of our thoughts and our emotions, and the impact it has on ourselves, our health, our life, our body, our family, our friends, our coworkers, our strangers, people we will never meet. um, the energy is stored there, and then it vibrates out. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you'd like to unmute, or if you don't have thoughts, that's super cool too.
That was powerful.
Yay!
Very powerful. You don't think about it on a minute to minute basis.
Mm-mm.
You really don't. And that's a totally different way of living.
Yeah.
Things will
It's
change.
very true. We don't think about it as a day-to-day thing.
Mm-mm. Or moment to moment.
Yeah, or moment to moment. It's just like when you think about it, you make a point of it, right?
Right.
You bring your emotions up, it's like you meditate, whatever you're doing. It's like when you're walking into the store or something, you're not thinking, you're not uh, feeling what your thoughts and emotions in that moment are doing.
Right. They're alive.
But sometimes you have a bad one, you're going, so that kind of, you're saying, no, I don't want that one. Or you say, I have to, put a really good emotion out there for a particular reason. But in general, you don't think about it every moment.
So
So it's probably a good thing to think about more.
it is. We have a newcomer. I just want to say welcome, but the lesson, we just had the lesson, so please go watch it on the YouTube after class. um, I'm sorry you missed it. um,
Yay, somebody new.
it's a new name. So yes, we absolutely make a difference every moment of our life to ourselves and everybody around us. We absolutely make a difference. We're very important in the whole weaving of energy and love around the world. And the love we feel and the empathy and compassion and the unity that if we allow ourselves to feel unity, really, there's a car driving by. I'm in union. The unity that we feel within ourselves ignites the divine, feeds the divine fire within the other, everyone. So even if a person isn't aware of their divine light, your divine light will throw some fuel on their fire if you on their flame. Like if we're in love and joy and happiness, the world will be changed just by the energy that goes out. The love will go out of me into somebody, and that flame will flicker and begin to um, hopefully grow. Right. So we absolutely bring life to ourselves through our process and give it away to everybody through how we live our life. It's a natural flow to feel love and unity and joy and happiness. And if it isn't, get in there, figure out why. And that's the point of this class. So that's today.
Cool.
And it goes a long way towards our health too. Like we move things through, we build the love, the joy. Then we're not storing um, things in our body and our body energy. We're not having a lack of flow because stagnation is never good, right? So we become younger, more energized, more alive, hear more clearly. So anyway, so we'll do a little meditation to to support what we're doing, and then we'll sign off and we'll just be back next week. I'm not gonna, if I remember, I'll remind you all, but I don't all the time remember, but unless you hear from me, we're having class. So let me